So I'll be going over a rogue today. It is a martial class in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's been in D&D for a very long time. It's one of the oldest classes in the book. And so today I want to develop a character with you and give you a guide and step-by-step process on how to make that character. We're going to go through mechanics and how they work, but overall this is a character creation video. So stay tuned. So I'm Johnny, this is Johnny GMs, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, guides on how to play, and most of all, I want to give you some creative ideas to help you spice up those games of yours. So let's get going. So this is the D&D Beyond character creation tool. To your right, you can see the several options that we can use, but today I will be mostly focusing on the standard approach. Over here is the quick build and the randomize, and below is the show help text, and it's ideal for beginners as it says below. If you tick this, it'll give you some detailed guides on how to build your characters and show you what these mechanics mean. So above, we will be using the standard approach to make our character. There is other builds like the quick build, which makes a first level character quick and easy with the standard options. Over here is the randomize, which is quite self-explanatory. It randomizes your character, your race, your level, whatever you wish. It's pretty good for one-shots, and maybe if you just want a quick character on the go. But we're going to focus on the standard approach, so here we go. So this is the character preferences page. This is where we allow or disallow certain content or rulings in our games. So there are other content like Magic the Gathering and Eberron, but we'll probably not need these, so let's click them. There's other content like homebrew content, which is mostly made by creators and players. So next we have the digital dice. It's quite useful if you don't have dice yourself. So here we are with the optional features. I'm not going to use today because they're better for intermediate players or experienced ones. You can change your racial abilities or your class features, or just add some new ones, but it's not absolutely necessary. So the next thing on the list is leveling up. It's either by milestone, which is story based, or XP, which is more mathematical and added up to earn levels. So you can roll for your hit points, or the D&D Beyond app will do it for you. This is what fixed refers to, and manual is when you roll it yourself. So what these refer to are feats and multi-class requirements. Feats give you additional abilities, unique traits to add to your characters. We're not going to be using these as they're a little bit too complicated for new players. While multi-classing is more to do with mixing and matching two classes or more abilities together to make something wholly unique. So show level scaled spells. We don't really need to worry about this as the rogue isn't a spellcaster in this sense. So encumbrance. This is how you manage your inventory, your goods, magic items, etc, etc. But we probably won't be using this today, so coin weight refers to your encumbrance and adds to it or doesn't depending on if you switch this, but we don't need to worry about that. So modifiers on top refers to something later on in the sheet. You don't really need to worry about that, but I'll mention it when we get there. Public refers to if you want to share your character with the community, but that doesn't really matter. So let's continue. On to the race. So here are all the available races, but we're looking for elf. There it is. So wood elf. Okay, so this is a wood elf's abilities. Their backstory, their traits that they begin off with, 2 dexterity, and their other set abilities. Well, we'll go over this as we select the race, so here it goes. So here are the racial traits. As you can see, this is dark vision. It allows you to see in dim and dark conditions. This is proficiency with the perception skill. Fey ancestry, you have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and you can't be put to sleep. So in order to get your abilities back, you must sleep for at least 8 hours, but for elves, they need to only meditate for 4. So it's quite a nifty bonus. Here we have the ability score, which increases by 1 in wisdom. As you can see up here, most elves start with 2 dexterity. They also have weapon training, which gives them proficiencies in other weapons, as you can see. Fleet of foot, which increases their walking speed by 5. Mask of the Wild, which allows them to be obscured in certain conditions. So now we're going to go to description. So let's start by changing our name. So I'm gonna go for Theron. There we go. Now let's pick our portrait. So we're looking for a wood elf portrait. So let's look through this. Okay, where is it? Ah, there we go. This'll do. So we're gonna pick Guild Artisan for our background. As you can see, there's some flavor text up above. So backgrounds give you a foundation for your character, skills, sometimes languages, and sometimes tools. For the Guild Artisan, we have Insight and Persuasion. Down below, we're going to pick Cobbler's Tools, because he's a shoemaker. And the language we're going to pick is Halfling. So next, we're going to go to the background feature. Most backgrounds have features like this. In this case, it's called the Guild Membership feature. So next is Suggested Characteristics. These give your character a personality, flaws, bonds, or personality traits. So we're going to randomly roll on them to see what we get. Okay, so I got I'm a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art. Let's do it again. Okay, I got the same one, of course I did. Okay, I got number 7. I don't part with money easily and will haggle tirelessly to get the best deal possible. So now we're on to our ideals. So let's randomly roll for them. Of course, we got greed. I'm only in it for the money. So next are bonds. So let's randomly roll for them. So we got number 6. I will get revenge on the evil forces that destroyed my place of business and ruined my livelihood. And now onto your flaws. Probably one of the more interesting ones to roll for. Okay, so we got 2. I'm quick to assume that someone is trying to cheat me. Interesting. So the next part is character details. This includes your alignment, which is going to be chaotic good. Faith is non-applicable, and lifestyle just refers to your living conditions and how much you're willing to pay. We are going to pick modest. And now go to physical characteristic. We're not going to be filling this out as we don't really need to at this time. Next is personality characteristics. As you can see, it doubled up here. You can edit this if you'd like, but we're not going to right now. There's also notes which give you things on organization, allies, enemies, backstory, etc, etc. So the next step is to pick our class, which is going to be Rogue. So let's get started. So as you can see up here, his hit points are currently 8. And here it will tell you how you calculate this. It is for every 1d8 per level plus your constitution modifier. So let's go check out Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack is basically the gimmick of the rogues. It's their main feature, and it allows them to deal some extra damage to their enemies if they have advantage against them. This means if they're hiding or if they're 5 feet next to an ally, they can gain advantage on the attack roll, as long as they're wielding a finesse weapon, such as a dagger, a short sword, a rapier, or perhaps a ranged weapon as it's stated here, like a crossbow or a short bow. Additionally, at first level, we gain the Thieves' Cant ability. This is sort of a extra language for rogues. It lets them understand secret signs, symbols, convey short and simple messages to one another. So now we're going to talk about proficiencies. Most classes get these, usually 2 or 3 at a time, but the rogue gets 4. So we're going to pick, for the first ability, we'll pick Sleight of Hand, Deception, Investigation, and Stealth. So now that we've picked our skills, let me show you what else a rogue is proficient with. So they are proficient with light armor, simple weapons, some selective martial weapons, thieves' tools, saving throws are dexterity and intelligence. We'll go over that at a later date. Below the saving throws are the skills that most rogues can learn, but you can only pick 4 at a time, like the ones that we selected below. So let's talk about expertise. So we should open this. Expertise, what it does is it doubles your proficiency for these said skills. What that means is it makes them doubly effective when you roll for them. So let's pick these tools and Sleight of Hand. So we are done with our first level features. So now all we have to do is go to the abilities section and assign our ability scores. So there are 6 ability scores: Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Dexterity is the most important score for rogues, followed by maybe Constitution for health. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma can be used depending on the rogue that you want to make. So we are going to use the point-buy system to calculate our stats, or our ability scores, as you can see here. As you can see, our Wisdom is 9 and our Dexterity is 10. This is due to our racial ability stats, as you can see here. 1 wisdom for wood elves, and most elves get 2 dexterity, as you can see here. We're going to spend 9 points to put it to a 15, but because of the dexterity, it adds 2. Now we will increase our constitution by 12 by spending 4 points. So let's spend 2 points in intelligence to get the average of 10. And now into charisma, where we'll spend 4 points to get the charisma up to 12. Next, we will increase our strength to 13 by spending 5 points. So we have 3 points remaining, so let's get our constitution to 14. And now, oh look, wisdom, it's a 9. So maybe we can improve it. Let's take some out of strength, 1 point to be exact. And now we'll add it to wisdom, and now it's a 10. So everything is uniform now. So I wouldn't suggest this, as you want your other party members to shine, and having weaknesses can be quite fun. So let's add our last point to our strength, and now it's 13. And our wisdom is our weakness. So now we go back to our class, as we're going to level from 2, 3, and 4th level. So let's go to 2nd level. As you can see, our hit point maximum has changed, and I'll show you how this works. As you can see, it's a 2d8, so I'm 2nd level, 1d8 per level, plus your constitution modifier. Let me show you. So here we go. So for 14, it equals a +2. So every level, you add a +2 for every 1d8 that you roll per level. So now we're going to go back to the class selection and see what we have for level 2. At level 2, we gain cunning action. This allows you to use the dash, disengage, and hide action as a bonus action, which are normally an action to use, which is quite useful. So now on to 3rd level, where we get to pick our roguish archetype, or in other words, subclass. So I'm going to pick the thief archetype. So let's see what abilities we have. So fast hands, in this case, similar to the cunning action ability, we can use bonus actions to use several abilities such as sleight of hand, using your thieves tools to disarm a trap, open a lock, or take or use an object, which can be quite useful. So for our second feature for 3rd level, this allows us to attempt to climb, no longer reducing our speed by half like it normally does. In addition, we can make a running long jump, adding our dexterity to the distance that we covered. So now for this build, we go to level 4. 4th level for the most part is the same for most classes, giving you an ability score improvement or a feat, but we'll be mostly focusing on ability scores, such as adding to your dexterity and adding to your constitution. So let's go to our ability scores and see what we've come up with. So as you can see, my dexterity is 18, and now my constitution is 15. Now we go to equipment. So now you have a choice between equipment or gold. For the most part, I will always tell you to go for equipment unless you're doing it for a story reason. Normally the gold equivalent does not cover the cost of the equipment that you would normally get if you chose equipment. So let's start by picking a short bow and a quiver of 20 arrows. Then we will pick a rapier and a burglar's pack. It fits the thief thematic. And then cobbler's tools because of our background. So let's add our starting equipment. To my right, you can see GP, which equals your gold pieces. So these are the contents of our bags, our weapons, and our armor. And as you can see here in the top right, that's the total weight, but we won't need to worry too much about that. So we'll start to equip the arrows. We won't need to equip daggers, but let's equip the rapier and our short bow. Don't forget to equip your leather armor. And to the right hand side, if you click this tab, more information will show up, including the armor class, weight, and cost. So now that we're done with equipment, we can finally go to what's next. So here we go. Now you gotta do is view character sheet. Here we are, our character sheet. Everything that we've done up to this point is right here. All of the ability scores, proficiency bonus, walking speed, armor class, skills, saving throws, the whole shebang. So as you can see, this list here is your skills. As you can see, our acrobatics equals a +4, and if you go to our dex, that's a +4, a dexterity based skill. As you could probably tell, there are certain skills that are highlighted here. These are skills that you are proficient with. So this is a dex skill, and so dex is +4, and it adds your proficiency because you are proficient with that skill, as you can see. If you remember earlier, we added sleight of hand to our expertise skills. If we go up to proficiency bonus, what expertise does is double this. And because it was a dexterity skill, we add those two together and we get the +8. As you can see to our bottom left, this is a table of our proficiencies and languages. Just above that is our passive skills like perception, investigation, and insight. And of course dark vision, which allows us to see in dim light and dark light up to 60 feet. So the skills to your right are usually rolled for. If your passive score meets the requirements set by the difficulty class, which means how difficult it is to succeed on that skill, you do not need to roll for it. In some cases your DM will still make you roll, so be prepared that passives might not be useful at all. So now we are on to our action. So as you can see, we have a reaction like opportunity attacks, or other like sneak attack, or for instance our Mask of the Wild ability, which is a racial skill. And then we have our actions. As you can see below, there are different types of actions that we can do. Primarily it focuses on attacks. So this is a +6 to hit. This is our AC, but imagine if an enemy had a 15 AC and we were to attack. We got a 10 plus a 6, which would hit that AC. Now for the damage. So we got 3 plus 4, which is 7 damage. If we were to have advantage on the roll, we could do a sneak attack. Deal an additional 6, which would be 13 altogether. Next, we talk about speed. For every 5 feet is 1 square on a map, so having 35 is pretty useful. Over here is our hit points, and this is how you heal or take damage, and you reduce or heal it back. Over here is our resistances, immunities, or vulnerabilities. So when you hear roll initiative, you add your dexterity modifier to your d20 roll, and in my case I got a 20. So the higher you roll, the quicker the initiative. The lower you roll, the slower the initiative. So this is basically to do with your turn order in the combat. So, as you can see, you have Dex, Strength, Con, Charisma, Wisdom, and Intelligence. These refer to your saving throws. Each class gains proficiency in 2 saving throws. For the Rogue, this is Dexterity and Intelligence. Your saving throw scores equal your ability score modifiers. The ones that are proficient add your modifier. So, let's test it out. So, we got 19 plus 6, which is a 25, which is fantastic. So, let's roll a Wisdom save. We have a -1, so we rolled really badly and have a really bad saving throw, so now we could be charmed or frightened perhaps. Well, let's hope next round I get a better roll. Strength saves could mean being pushed or grappled. Constitution saves could equal being poisoned or getting drunk. Intelligence saves could be discerning an illusion. Charisma saves could be resisting mind control abilities. And wisdom, as we said before, could be resisting charm effects or fear effects. So that's how you make a rogue in D&D. Thanks for watching. I hope that helped.